Hi, my name is Reese Bobitt, and today we've sat down with the new superintendent of the Maroa-Forsyth School District, Dr. Ahlemeyer.
Hi.
Our first question for you is to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm Central Illinois raised. I was born in a small town called Fairbury, Illinois, which is just north of here. The current school district is called Prairie Central. I know it's not in the conference or the teams you play. But yeah, Fairbury is exactly like Maroa, same. And back then, the high school was called Fairbury Cropsey High School. And the high school I went to, pretty much identical to this high school. And then I went on to Eastern Illinois University in Charleston, not too far from here. And then got my first teaching job up in Lake County, Illinois, near the Wisconsin border. And basically, I've been up there for the last 29 years. And when I first got up to Lake County, it kind of reminded me of Central Illinois. There were some farm fields, and it was close to Wisconsin and all that kind of stuff, and so it felt very good. But I've been yearning to get back to Central Illinois and back to my roots and to find a community kind of similar to what I grew up in. And so, yeah, all of our kids are older. They're between the ages of 19 and 27, so my wife and I had some freedom. And my parents still live in Bloomington area, and my wife's parents are from Quincy, and we have brothers and sisters in like Galesburg, those areas. So we really started thinking about getting back to Central Illinois. So I started looking for jobs, and I said, if I could get a great job in a great school district, I'm coming back. So luckily I found Maroa-Forsyth. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit about me. One other thing I'd want to say is, our high school here, with the great athletic programs and great academics and great fine arts programs and great coaches and great teachers, is just like my high school. And so I feel that's why I got into education, actually, is because my coaches, my high school, my teachers meant so much to me. I wanted to kind of get into, do the same thing. So it really feels good being here, and that's kind of my story. There's more to it, but I don't want to bore people. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So. Our next question for you is, where were you immediately before here, and what made you decide on Maroa-Forsyth specifically?
Sure. I'll give you the quick 29 years up in Lake County. I was in 3 school districts. The first one was called Oak Grove School District, and the students went to Libertyville High School. Some people might know that high school because it's really good and lots of different programs, big high school up there. And then I taught there for 6 years. And then for 13 years, I was in a school district called the Hawthorne School District. And that fed into Libertyville High School and Vernon Hills High School. Again, big high schools up there. So I was there for 13 years as a principal and assistant superintendent. And then I was a superintendent for 10 years at the Gavin School District. And that school district, the kids went to Grant High School. Kind of the model up where I came from is you had school districts that were K-8 and then school districts that were 9-12. So not a lot of K-12. So one of the reasons I wanted to come here was to get into a K-12 environment. So that's kind of the long answer to your question about where I came from. What was the second part of the question?
Why specifically Maroa-Forsyth? You talked a little bit about how it's similar to your high school, but what made it really stand out for you?
I think the excellence, the pride in the community, the excellence in all the programs was probably the main thing of why I wanted to come here. And just the people, you know what I mean? Everybody really cares deeply about doing what's best for the kids and trying to make the best programs available. And I definitely wanted to be around that environment, and so I feel very fortunate to be here. So that was the main reason.
Great. Our final question for you is, what is something, if there's anything that you'd like to change about Maroa-Forsyth during your time here, or what's kind of your game plan for the district?
Sure. It's early, so a big part of how I lead is to get to know people, build relationships, build connections, to find out collectively what does everybody here kind of feel about where we should go. It can't just be about what I think. So that's a big part of what I'm going to do. I mean, I really believe strongly that if this were a business, the customers are the kids, the students. And we want to have good customer service and bring the best experience to the kids. And so that's kind of how I think about what I do. In order to do that, I have to support the teachers and give them the tools they need because they're on the front lines working with you. But to specifically answer your question, I kind of have three ways of looking at how we can move forward. One is we have to maintain and keep all of our great programs and great traditions and make sure those don't go away. And we have a lot of those going on. The second thing that I think we need to do is, when you look at the kindergarten kids, I think they're going to be like the class of 2030 or something like that. Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah.
I know you guys are the class of 2018, but so what's our world going to be like, when they get out of school? And are we as a school district preparing kids for success after high school, no matter what they want to do, whether it's college or a job? And so I am interested in investigating, things related to, using technology in our schools and having kids and students be able to, beyond our walls, interact with other kids around the country and around the world, because technology allows us to do that, so that the learning isn't just isolated here. So I really want to look at kind of how to use, social media, for example, gets a bad rap a lot. How can we use things like social media and the things that are out there to our advantage to make the learning experiences better so that students are more adaptable in the future? So it's really bringing in those types of things into the learning, is probably the second thing. And, the third item, I think relates to telling our story out to the world using technology. And there's so many good things going on, and we might know it, but does everybody else know it? And I think that's very important, to tell our story out to not just our community, but out to the world. You know what I mean? So everybody knows the great things that are going on. And I'm interested in seeing our communities flourish and grow. And that takes great businesses and great schools, and so we need to be a big part of making our community grow, and that starts a lot of times with how the school's doing and how the school's perceived. And so those are kind of, for now, kind of the three things that I'm looking at. I guess a fourth would be to use students and the community and the teachers to put a more specific plan together to explain how we're going to do it. And so that'll be a goal of mine here this first year and a half.
All right.
So that's it. I think for now, unless you have more questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything else you got.
No more questions.
All right.
I just want to say we feel very lucky to have you in
very
the
nice.
district. Once again, this is Dr. Ahlemeyer, the new superintendent of the Maroa-Forsyth School District.
Thanks for having me.